Hello, how are you doing? Capture is not getting me headphones in again. I was like, oh, class, we can start now. How you doing? Hope you're well. Set up some form of janky ass studio, but it's getting there. I just need to soften this sound and things like that. Today, there's so much to talk about. It'll be a little bit less me talking actually, and a lot more playing the crazy Hasidic Jew tunnel video. I've got 3 of them. I honestly don't know what's going on, right? I haven't got a Scooby Doo. So please tell us in the comments what you think is going on. In fact, I'm going to put this on the screen because people will be joining because of the lag and that. So let me create something for the screen. What do you think is going on here, like? Because I have not got a Scooby. What I do have a Scooby about though is schools getting themselves a way back to way back in. So we're going to talk about that as well, and why the government, I don't know, campaign towards getting kids to go into school is absolutely raj just now, like fully radio rentals. We've got this thing on Keir Starmer as well. Couldn't help it, really. Got to, haven't you? So before we get into that though, patreon.com/cow daily. Patreon.com/cow daily for all of your supporting good faith independent media needs. Also, if you want to make a contribution to our work via a one-off basis, link in the description for the PayPal as well. Nice. Wonderful times. Who's in the comments before we crack this one off? Not like crack one off. That would be Leslie Grantham-esque, and it's not happening. Joanne, right back at you. Unexpected from B62 Boom On. Nice. Zoe's in the house. All right. Nice to see you. The world is imploding. That's right, Joanne, it is. Duncan, afternoon. More of the same, Jono. You knows it. Jacqueline's in the house. Hi, everybody. Right, cool. So he's saying, send your kids to school. They aren't getting disabled quick enough. That's the thing, though. That is exactly what's happening, but we're having to use sarcasm to possibly get it across to people. Or are we even getting it across to people? Well, one thing I do know is we're going to keep going. And I am seeing certain things improve and get better. But we'll talk about that later on the show. What have we got now? Right, this from Cow Daily. Who's that cheeky young scamp? Chabad, the Hasidic Jewish sect, has secret tunnels that were discovered under their headquarters in New York City and are now being shut down by the NYPD. What is this about, man? 2024 is already off its lips. Hard to argue against 2024 already being off its lips, but why? Here's why, or at least one of the reasons. I'm just going to play this, right? I'm going to drink me brew. I might cut in from time to time. But please tell us in the comments what you think this is. What's going on here?
They're breaking through. They're breaking through. He wants you to throw it.
What on earth is this? Rodeo people are pulling stained mattresses out. I don't know, looks a bit questionable unless he dragged himself in his sleep. In the comments, please, what's happening here? Look at this. All the raw footage. I'm going to scroll through this for obviously audio people as well. What we're seeing on the screen is a lot of like Orthodox Jews like milling about, and there's some kind of right. So it's flipped over now, and they're digging out. That's what it looks like, the side of the building. Right, I'm going to skip through. Check it. Same way. All that. Busies have turned up. I've got a clip of this busy with the looks like he's got a part of his head with an axe. Absolutely nuts. This, like, what is going on here? Why are there secret tunnels under the Hasidic HQ in New York City? Why? Tell me why.
All those guys doing is just next to about it.
What is that? Right. I'm going to get rid of this one.
Do they know?
Absolute crazy talk. Pure, utter, unequivocal madness. What do you think's going on there? We've got one response. And they're talking about what's happening in Turkey. What has actually happened in Turkey? Because I've got no idea what's going on there. I have no clue at all what on earth is going on. What I've got here is, though, and I think this person's like being, they're just joking. It's at Partisan Girl on Twitter. Footage of the terror tunnel found under New York after NYPD raid on synagogue. This one, right? It's some wild stuff. I mean, you see it in like serial killer documentaries and things. Check this out. Hang on a minute. Where's he gone? Yeah. Check this out. So for audio people, what we're seeing is somebody with a flashlight going through just what looks like some kind of back room. But here's the stairs, and it's the stairs which are dark at the bottom. They're proper horror film stairs, and now we're into the tunnels. So somebody's been digging out, like out of the cellar, it appears, and just digging earth out, and then onwards into some underground kind of complex. Now, I was reading about this, right? And how they got discovered is that apparently people could hear noises under their house, like under some other block. Look at this, man. You go through this little like brick hole, and there's just like this tunnel that goes like all the way off. Scary scenarios that like they've built a curb and everything. Right. So what's going on there? What's going on? I need to know. I need to know. The world in 2024 already is absolutely off its lips. There's no getting away from it. It's just like constantly there's something like mad that happens that hardly gets talked about, that hardly gets just like dissected before it's on to the next thing. And I don't often do these where I just like, right, I don't have any analysis for this, but I just wanted to show it because I got it sent by my pal this morning. I've looked into it a bit further and I'm still none the wiser. So I was hoping that people out there would be able to tell us what this is. And by all means, email us, inboxes, tell us in the live chat. Because I just want to know. So I've got one more video on this. And it's that busy who parted his head with an axe before. And here he is talking to them. And I'm hoping this is going to possibly give us a clue.
Do they know? Because those guy wanted to go out. Those guy wanted to go out. It says no. I want to clear the whole shoe. Oh, shoe? Why is that? They want to fix this tonight. They need the shoe cleared. And to why you need to expense something? Not like this. We don't do that in America.
So he's saying we don't do this in America. Okay. Tunnels. Quite ironic in some respects, but we'll leave that part of the analysis there. There's a few comments, and I'm hoping. Right, B62 Boom One said, I don't really use social media, so I'm covered in confusion. Carlos is saying humanity is one weird species. Indeed. Tunnel phobia, says Joanne. Jacqueline says, perhaps Jewish people are worried that there will be a repeat of what happened in the 30s and 40s as some kind of doomsday prep. I have no idea. It wouldn't be beyond the realms, mate. It's better than what I've got because I have nothing at this point as to what the hell's going on at all. Rob saying, no idea. Crikey, me too. Hello, everybody, says Jojo. Hello, mate. So Zoe's saying, are these tunnels not from like Prohibition times and they're just living in them or whatever? No, I read recently, just before the show, I read recently that somebody was saying like, are there something that happened like during COVID? I mean, when I was still in the pandemic, but people talk, and apparently not. Like since the lockdowns finished, it was. So there we go. Where's the footage come from? Obviously it's on, as you can see, it's like on site, and it's corroborated footage. So it's from New York. It's from the Hasidic headquarters. I just like that's all I've got. It's mad, isn't it? It's just a crazy one. Like, why on earth would that happen? Right. We'll leave it there, but please do get in touch if you can actually shed some light on this, because I have no clue. And for once, I'm asking you the questions. Right, I'll get rid of this off the screen. What else we're going to talk about today is this thing here. If you really want to know how bad things are, then look no further than the Daily Mail running a pro-masking article today. That's a canary in the coal mine if ever we've seen one. K95, N95 or above, except no substitutes. Those baggy-ass surgical ones don't work for COVID. This is the Daily Mail has obviously used a picture of somebody wearing a surgical mask. It's not the greatest, but here we go. So the Mail doing an article about mask wearing. Well, that wasn't on my New Year's bingo card, says at Coastal Kate. Glad to say it though, our government should send FFP2s free to every household and educate on how to use and reuse these. Now, that really isn't on my bingo card. And this extract from the Daily Mail article, I think it's noteworthy that during the pandemic, there they go again with the past tense. Singapore's government handed out over 9 million masks to its 5.6 million residents, resulting in each household having access to 4 reusable masks. Singapore's infection rates and deaths during the pandemic, it's still going on. And now, during the pandemic and now, it's so confusing. I need things to make sense. It's still ongoing. America is currently going through the second wave of the entire pandemic. Stop talking in the past tense, man. So anyway, have been much lower than ours. Its economy has not been hit in the same way either. So the fact that, and obviously we've been talking about this for a while, obviously we mentioned recently before Christmas, in Germany, in some of the sort of managerial trade papers, they're like basically putting out articles which are advising people to invest a relatively small amount of money in cleaning the air and mitigations. So the fact that Daily Mail, who has led the culture war and politicized masks, is now doing a pro-mask article, should tell you that you should be masking. As I say, FFP2, KN95, N95 and above. Forget them baggy surgical mask things, all that other crap we were wearing at the start of the pandemic, and also hand sanitizer. No good for COVID. Good for other stuff. So if we've got like damaged immune systems and whatever, it'd be good for RSV, flu and all that, which can actually do it in. Let's not forget. Why is this a problem? Please do follow Catman's Anti-Capitalist Treehouse of Solidarity. Sounds mad, but one of the best reporters of what's going on at the moment. This is the thing. Suspend like what valid sources are. Like seriously, the people who are doing the best work are like COVID social media people like Catman and others, because they're the people who ever find this out. Anyway, this is from Fortune. New highly mutated COVID variants, Parola, BA286, and JN1 may cause more severe disease, new studies suggest. I've read further into this. For the purposes of this show, we're going to skip on, but the stuff there on the screen highlighted if you want to pause it and have a look. Anyway, right, clear advice, improve your mask. So for audio people, on the left, cloth, very poor, skip this. All we had at the start, but poor for real protection. Stops droplets, but not aerosols. Rubs on nose, so it's less comfortable. One along, surgical, that's poor. So it's designed for droplets, not aerosol. Loose fitting, it leaks heavily on sides. It rubs on your nose, so it's less comfortable. Now we're getting somewhere. KN95, better. It's a respirator. So it's very important when people talk about masks, they generally refer to all of these. But once you get into the KN95s and above, respirator, it's basically what they are. So anyway, KN95, a respirator, it's much better than a surgical. Earlobes means there can be some leakage on the sides. Proper fit doesn't rub nose. The N95 is the best. It's a respirator. It's got headbands that seal better than earlobes. Fit test better for better protection. Get a good mask that fits your face and that you will wear. KN95, N95 can be reused. Assign different mask per day of the week, good until dirty or elastic issues. Avoid handling the front of the mask after wearing. Get your grubby paws off it. So that's where we are. The whole like sort of world of like community protections, one of them being masking, has been politicized. One of them that hasn't quite been politicized yet is cleaning the air. We'll get onto that later in the show. We're going to talk about what's happening with schools and what should be happening in schools, because we always try and do solutions focused stuff. Anyway, I am going to stick the tunes on because I just need to sort my throat out, like, because I'm back on the lemon balm, coffee in the rear view, Trahums. Ding, ding, ding. Bisto from the lemon balm. Beautiful. Absolutely lush, that lemon balm, you know. Best drink and my utter favourite. Anyway, what we got here. So I've screenshot that properly. But anyway, if you want to speculate, what percentage of the Crystal Fash realise that they got things wrong, but just can't bring themselves to say so out of sheer pride and why? Let us know in the comments. Do you know Crystal Fash, or do you know people who got things a bit wrong and would like to come back? I'm going to read this out from your man Boss Kane from the comments on the page, because I thought it was a really good breakdown of what's going on. Boss Kane, follow him on the Facebook. I think a lot of the time it's more than just pride getting in the way with this kind of thing. And across the board, people seem to change their social group to reaffirm what they want to believe. And then they are trapped or have to be the one to break rank and risk losing that setup. Just tell me about it, dude. Oh, yeah. So Boss Kane goes on. That illusion of collective agreement link you shared yesterday was bang on. If anyone wants to read it, you can find it on the Facebook page. And it is self-perpetuating in this way. People will double down on a lie to keep their friends before speaking up and risking rocking the boat for the most part. This has nothing to do with state-mandated school uniform-based conformity training. I will eat my pants. Also, I strongly suspect most people around here have a tad too much fluoride in their system. So the top of it is this. A lot of it is down to like social conformity, and far-right social engineers know this and they play on it. Because most people are fucking cowards, like, let's have it right. And, you know, what I'm not having, right, is people who were all holier than thou, certainly with me, certainly around the Corbyn election time, because maybe I'm not politically correct enough. And all they would talk about is like, oh, you know, not all, but a lot of things, ableism and things like that, and rightly so. But guess what? You've been found out with your trousers down. And here's why. Because where are you now? The whole world is fucking ableist now. The whole fucking world. Where are you now? Well, come back, because, you know, you're going to die as well. Quite possibly. The situation's utterly fucking terrible. And it's going to get even worse, let's be honest, before a lot of these fucking dafties wise up, because it's going to have to touch them, because turns out, oh man, I need to not do this, because I've done a lot of this and we need to try and rebuild, but I'm still fucking angry, man. Like, how on earth can people be going on about like fucking ableism and all of that for the longest time, and then we're just cosplaying at it because it matters now? It matters now. It mattered then, but it fucking sure matters now. We're in the 5th year of the pandemic. It's 2024, and there's people who are disabled still in the house. And there's nothing being said. Like, all of these people who are supposed to be like backing them up, where are you now? Where are you now? Well, it'll touch you, and it's going to touch you. Second biggest wave in the United States so far. Yeah, like international air travel's not a thing over Christmas. And those stats are from before Christmas. Where do you think this is going to go now? Do you remember, right? And I know I've got a hectoring tone on and that, but I don't give a fuck anymore, actually. Like, why? Do you know what it is, right? the worst part of this pandemic is not just all of this illness, death. It's not even like what I went through when Ellie died. It's listening to these fucking wankers tone policing and absorbing it so much I'm tone policing myself. Fuck off. Like, fucking hell. Listen, Ellie died from this. There's people who are like, if they get touched by this, they'll die. They'll die, or they'll be severely fucking more disabled than they already are. And more people are becoming in that group. I think it's over 2 million people, at least so far, who are on long-term pattern make the sick. I mean, we'll touch more on this in a minute with the school stuff, but we'll see what's flying out in the comments. Andy Taylor, you get this almost, but wait, missed it. Work and wait. Rightly so, Andy. Get rid of them. Jez is in the who's. Jez is saying, I watched a thing where a woman in 2020 claimed 1 in 6 would be dead from the vaccine by 2022. She was right. I'm dead. That's what happened. Dying. Well, we're all dying to an extent. Jacqueline saying, what about those who aren't classed as physically disabled but are clinically vulnerable but are being forced into long for work and traveling on public transport? Eugenics. That's what it is. It is eugenics. Bob's in the house. Nice to see you, lad. The amount of abuse you get when you point out the pandemic is still ongoing. It is. Fuck every single one of them. That's for you right there. Fuck them all. I honestly didn't get it, but I am seeing hope. I am seeing people coming back from the dark side and actually going, hold on a minute. And it's not just people that it's touching, actually. I think people, and it's understandable too, that their heads just couldn't take anymore. And I think that one of the things that I've found solace in is understanding that. Elegant Quirk, hello. Does Dead Inside count, perhaps? I think it probably does. I think a hell of a lot of what are, actually. A hell of a lot of what are. But that can be good during moments like this when we're essentially living in reality. We're living in reality and everybody else is not. That's nuts, man. Think about that for a minute. Like, think about what that actually means. A certain amount of people have been weirdoed off us, and we are the ones with the weight of scientific evidence behind why we're doing what we're doing. Just think about that, man. 2024 is mad. We're ripe for the aliens, quite frankly. We need them. I don't mean to come save or anything. It's just not weird enough. It's not weird enough that people want to weirdo us off when we're the ones sitting here with like a stack of science. And then some of the people doing it were some of the ones like giving grief to like in Crystal Fash, anti-vax and all that. But yet they're diving in on some kind of mad, non-evidence-based way of living now. And that I would not give a shit about at all if it affected nobody else. Wouldn't even talk about it. Wouldn't give a shit. It's just like, I fully believe people can do whatever they want up to the point that they harm other people. And at that point, they can fuck off. And that's the point that we've been at for a long time. So, you know what it is? Let's not be tone policed. I won't be tone policed. I won't tone police myself. But what I will do is pull up some good stuff. And this is some stuff that I'm just going to effectively read out. And it's from one of the best accounts on this, which is Cat in the Hat. Follow at cat_cat in the hat on Twitter. So it's on school attendance. School attendance, a thread. And I've cherry picked some of it. Go and check at _cat in the hat. Like I say, there's like a full thread, which if you're a parent, you'll probably see why when I cherry pick some of it. But it's certainly if you're a parent, and definitely if you're a child. But while you're listening to this fucking show, I've no idea. Get to bed. You'll definitely want to read this Cat in the Hat thread because it might just save your Ben's life, frankly. So anyway, school attends a thread. As COVID cases soar to potentially record-breaking levels, the Department for Education has just launched a tone-deaf new school attendance campaign. This morning he had a runny nose, but look at him now. Check this out, man. Look at this. So this is from Gillian Keegan, MP at Gillian Keegan. Improving attendance is my number one priority, so I'm glad that there are 380,000 fewer children persistently absent and not attending school than last year. But we know we need to go further. So today we're taking action to improve attendance. It's all that the kid running around with the runny nose. But Cat and the Hat's fixed it. So on the left, Department of Education's latest school attendance campaign. This morning had a runny nose, but look at him now. Look at the kid running around. Moments matter, attendance counts. On the right, this morning he had symptoms of COVID, but look at him now, running around school, merrily infecting all his classmates. Don't spread it about. Keep your kids out. Right, Tom Bottom is this. I spoke to a lad recently, right? Well, say spoke, we had a pretty heated argument. Which, to be honest with you, it was face to face. I don't think it would have went on so long. And he honestly believed, right, that COVID doesn't affect kids. When you'll see as this thread goes on, that is not his fault. That is two things. It's a failure of public health messaging, as we'll see, because the World Health Organization is the standard, and that doesn't match up with the NHS. So what's happening here? Weird stuff. So what we got here, so this is the COVID-19 symptoms and what to do. As you can see here, it's still saying a blocked or runny nose could be a symptom of COVID. So we're not, the ghouls who run things are, sending kids into schools. Do you not remember, right? Like, America has the second biggest waves, and it's probably going to be the first after the wastewater results come through after Christmas and everything, right? Do you not remember when everything was on like lockdown? And I'm certainly not advocating for more lockdowns. I didn't want them. But I want clean air in these schools for an absolute start. And we found out recently that it would cost £120 million. It's that cheap for air purification in every school and every classroom. And we'll find out in a moment about a study from Italy and what that actually does. And it's not just about numbers. It's about your bairn's life. And not just your bairn, yours, people that it comes into contact with. You know what this does. Deep down, listening to this. Quite a lot of the people listening to this don't need it selling to them. Send it to your nana, though, because nanas love us. I'm your mom's favourite content creator, after all. What's on the screen now? For your eyes. Cat in the Hat's back. The last data checkpoint on COVID prevalence was over 3 weeks ago and showed that around 1 in 24 people in England and Scotland were infected with COVID at that time. In London, it was 1 in 16. Cases were rising fast, having more than doubled in the 2 weeks beforehand. And now what we'll do, send the bairns to school. Cat in the Hat goes on. COVID prevalence is almost certainly higher now. Experts are warning that the number of COVID cases in the UK may soar at the highest level ever. Going to rewind. Experts are warning that the number of COVID cases in the UK may soar to the highest level ever this January. What you mean now? Now. Statistically, there's a 2-week lag as well. So if it comes out in 2 weeks, we're already in it. So what we're doing, send the bands to school. Where's the unions? What the fuck? What? So statistically speaking, there's probably at least one child with COVID in every class currently. So class. COVID cases may break UK record in January due to JN1 variant. Scientists warn this from the iNews.co.uk. Leading data scientists predict cases will keep rising for another week or two as JN1 becomes the dominant subvariant in the UK, account for more than half its COVID infections. So anyway, from NHS.uk, if your child has mild symptoms such as a runny nose, sore throat, a slight cough, and feels well enough, they can go to school. They can go to school. Make sure you send your nana to pick them up. What the fuck hell is going on here? So from further down, what to do if your child is tested positive? Your child is no longer required to do a COVID-19 rapid lateral flow test if they have symptoms, says the NHS. Send them in. Keep capitalism rolling. Keep the wheels of capitalism spinning. Sacrifice your mid to long-term health, bring forward end-of-life illness and injury, and contribute to beige eugenics as we murder between us, clinically vulnerable people everywhere. Please come and tell me this is hyperbole and try and weirdo me off, and I will show a raft of evidence as to why you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, at Cat in the Hat, there's such an obsession with improving absence rates at all costs that the basics of infection control have been abandoned. Last winter, children were being told that they need to show resilience and drag themselves into school even if unwell, and so the illness is spread. So someone called at Karam Bales put this up. A lot of pressure from the Department of Education on children's comms, 100% attendance target. This is from a school near me. Can't name a staff or worry about head's reaction. So this was something that was put around in the school as an example of what is coming top down from government. So it says our attendance is slipping down to 92%. If you aren't feeling well, if you have the sniffles, it's really important you show resilience and drag yourself into school. My house is filled with COVID and I'm in. Don't worry, I took a test last night. Morning assembly in my school today. Something I just want to cut in on here. See this arsehole, right? The complete opposite thing that you want to do when you get COVID is do what that arsehole says. What you need to do is rest some more, and rest again. And if you think you've rested, keep resting. Why? Because long COVID is no fucking joke. I had it for 2 years, right? Thought I was going to die. Like, no hyperbole. You'll know what I mean when you get it. It's coming. See how you get on. You literally cannot keep getting infected this much. I've stopped getting infected or doing everything I can to stop that because I want to stick around. You know, I've got responsibilities for the most part, but I've got fucking things to do. And also, I'm not dying for the sake of fucking capitalism, because that's what it is. That's what this is. This is the biggest open goal, right, for the so-called left there is, right? Strikes should be happening, right? But they're not. And I don't know what the fuck is wrong with these people. The best we've got is the National Education Union doing like a half-decent bit of guidance, which nobody's done anything with. Meanwhile, Ben's getting ill and probably dying. Anyway, Cat in the Hat goes on. In the autumn term, 2022-23, pupil absence rates soared due to illness. The Department of Education's own data shows that absences purely due to illness peaked at 9.2% by the end of the autumn term last year. That's nearly 1 in every 10 children across England absent due to illness, right? This whole myth of, oh, Ben's immune systems are like a bomb, man. Let's all go back to work and have a pint and go to the pub and that. Bollocks. Totally fucking shite. Everybody is at risk. Ben's, people my age, people in their 20s, older people, everybody. And it's repeat infections that are damaging our immune system. If you don't believe us, I can show you all the evidence, but we've got a certain time limit on this show. So, you know, we'll get through it. So tying this up, it's quite simple, really, says Cat in the Hat. As Kath Noakes said at the COVID inquiry, mitigating airborne transmission takes responsibility from the individual to the organisation, because it's the organisation that tends to deal with the environment. The Department of Education don't want to take responsibility. Right, what I've got is a quick video, and it's Noakes herself. Wonder if she's related to John Noakes. Bet she's never heard that before. Anyway, here's Catherine Noakes.
Mitigating airborne transmission is more challenging because it involves dealing with the environment. Every environment's different. And it's not as easy to put a simple rule like washing your hands. It also takes the responsibility from the individual to the organisation, because it's the organisation that tends to deal with the environment, whereas it's the individual who perhaps washes their hands. And I think I noted my statement as well that it's possible there may be a fear aspect to it. And you can see this in movies and things where it goes airborne, promotes a fear. Now, I don't know whether that really was the case, did happen, but I think that may possibly play into it as well.
Jesus. Honestly, man. What is life in 2024? We'll try and make sense of it together, though, war kids. I can tell you that. Anyway, this is what we need to do. We need to clean the air. there's now a mountain of evidence about how improving ventilation and air filtration can massively reduce the spread of COVID. And here's the bonus. It doesn't just work for COVID. It works for all airborne illnesses, including flu, RSV, measles. Also, you can improve ventilation simply by opening the windows. This lets stale virus-laden indoor air out and brings fresh outdoor air in. Ventilation is important because viruses like COVID are airborne. They spread through a room like smoke and linger in the air for hours. Motherfuckers don't be knowing this as well, you know. Like, people don't know, and it's just like such a failure of public health messaging. Do you think I want to be talking about this? But this is honestly, for me, one of my goals for the year is to put a lot of effort into clean air, because I'd rather, right, people be like, what's this problem? Like, why? You've got all these things in and nothing's the problem? Because that's what people will think. Because the other side of it is, if we don't have them, some of the people who are listening to this, because there's thousands of people, there's tens of thousands of people, like in the wider type of thing, some of yous are going to die. And I'm sorry for saying this, and you probably don't want to listen again, but odds-wise, somebody's going to die. Somebody you know is going to have a disability or autoimmune disease, and it's going to be brought on by constant damage to the immune system. Cat in the Hat says, and this is what I was talking about earlier from the study in Italy regarding classrooms. This study of over 10,000 classrooms in Italy showed that ventilation delivering 6 air changes per hour could reduce transmission of COVID by over 82%. With 6 air changes per hour, COVID infections reduced by 82.5%. With 4 air changes per hour, infections reduced by 66.8%. So we need to ventilate. We need to keep changing the air. You can easily measure if ventilation is adequate using a CO2 monitor. The Aranet 4 is the industry standard, and that's the one that we've got. This excellent guide put together by the Joint Education Union is the one I referenced for, neu.org. You can find it at neu.org.uk. An indoor CO2 level of 600 to 800 parts per million when the room is fully occupied indicates a well-ventilated room. The German Health Ministry and Karl Lauterbach were recommending more towards the 600. And to be honest with you, the way the Germans have been handling themselves, I'm going to believe them. So that's effectively the crack. That's a whistle-stop tour of what's happening and what needs to happen. And sorry for being that guy again, but like, you know, I really didn't want your bands to die. Didn't want you to die. And if I have to sit here being weirded off by absolute dafties, then trust me, no fucks given. Because at the end of the fucking day, you don't just do this stuff when it's easy. Looking at a lot of people who went missing round about the Corbyn times. You know who you are. You do it when it's fucking hard. You do it when people think you're a dafty. You do it when all of the evidence is behind you. More to the point. The world and society is fucked in the head. It's not us that are fucked in the head. And where the point of this be at, and I guarantee you, we're going to be more and more right every day, because it's just, what else can happen? If there's going to be nothing in terms of community protections, it's going to exponentially get worse. We'll learn this at the start of the pandemic which is ongoing and about to be worse than it's ever been. But now, is that living with COVID? Is sacrificing your physical and mental health living with COVID? Take it from me, right? If you don't work for 2 years, what happens to your life? Fucked. I was lucky I had people looking after us, right? But I'm heavily in debt because of it. So I'm just a baseline now trying to claw myself out. Do you want that? Because you might not even get better. Because for them 2 years, I didn't know whether I was going to get better. And it was more likely I was probably going to die. Do you want that? Do you think I want to be sat up here doing this, talking about it, mugging myself off to people who think I'm a dafty? But at the same time, there's plenty of people who don't as well. And I guarantee you this, it was heartening, putting that work into that COVID Christmas guide and having all these people come back and said, I don't know how this happened, but none of us got COVID. And even some people saying there was people there with COVID. And that was about cleaning the air, nasal sprays, etc., etc. But guess what? If we clean the air over time, we'll eradicate these viruses from our lives. We don't have to keep getting ill. It's not actually good for us to keep getting ill. I spoke to Deeply Gurdasani, and she's one of the world's leading epidemiologists, and she's tried everything, and because everything opened up, she got COVID and she's got long COVID. And what she said was she thinks that the field might have got it wrong. A lot of it had been based around, like, you know, getting viruses, building the immune system and that. And she realizes, and a lot of people in the field realizes, that they've just got it wrong. And fair play to them for admitting that they got it wrong. Know what I'm saying? Take a few of the comments before we get off, because this is a long show. It's getting long. Dead Account, aka Glasgolf, says, I guess a silver lining, if COVID fucks my new immune system enough, I can do a redo. It's wild, the mental gymnastics. The comments about Kate Garry's husband were usual BS, blaming the backs. Do you know what it is, right? Michael Rosen said this as well, and I said this too, right? Because I got ill before there was any vaccine, and so did these people. Derek Draper, Michael Rosen. I wasn't as bad as them. I wasn't fucking, but Jesus Christ, it was long. Long. So that's the crack. People are talking much shit right now, man. Much shit. And you don't have to listen to that shit. And at the end of the day, right? And that's easy for me to say if I wasn't a dad, but I think you might know this by now. There's not a fucking chance in fucking hell any bear of mine would be getting sent into those COVID pits just to learn how to fucking do that times table, which they'll probably never be able to use because brain fog, take it from me, through long COVID is a motherfucker. Think I'm a weirdo all you like. Think the people who are behind this are weirdos all you like. We know we're not. You're the fucking Rajis. All the best cheers. Loving everybody who's fucking supporting the work, being the fucking absolute kings and queens that is are. Please go to patreon.com/cowdaily. That's patreon.com/cowdaily. If you want to make a one-off contribution to our work, links in description for PayPal. Love to all ears. We're going to kick this year off right. I'm just going to keep like building up a proper studio. But I'm chuffed because I think the internet held well. Let us know if the audio and the visuals are good, because obviously we move around a lot, so it's a bit of a like fine adjustment. Thanks very much for being here. And I shall see you at the next one. Talking my usual absolute evidence-based shit. See you later, pals.